how I was asked earlier about like dark horse candidates? Obviously, I left off Jeff Hafley, the Boston College head coach, who I've literally never heard of until the news broke that the Packers, Matt LaFleur, hiring this gentleman to be his defensive coordinator. Uh, NFL experience there, started with the Buccaneers back in 2012, worked his way around the NFL, worked with the Browns and the 49ers, worked with LaFleur's brother there in San Francisco, and then became a co-defensive coordinator with the Ohio State Buckeyes, where he had the greatest quote I've ever heard from any defensive coordinator that I've ever encountered, where he said, and I quote, I love this quote, love press man, got to be able to play press man, have to be able to, unquote. Sign me up. I somewhat am joking, but Matt LaFleur throwing a little bit of a curveball here. It's clearly not one of the names that have been reported, not on the quote lists, but a guy who, again, has NFL experience. And if you trace his lineage, both in the NFL and the college ranks, uh, his charges, especially when he's been a position coach, have performed pretty damn well. And as far as his tenure at Boston College, has certainly had them bowl eligible or going towards eligibility pretty much every year. I know he missed one season in particular, but hey, okay. As far as schematics go, I'm very interested to see where this puts the Green Bay Packers. Uh, what kind of schematics he's going to bring to Green Bay, given what they have on offer as far as personnel. But uh, love the fact that it's outside the box. People were lining up talking about all these NFL coaches and Matt LaFleur coming up and saying, "Hi, no, actually, there's this guy." And funnily enough, speaking of Matt LaFleur, I will let you guys know that I texted him a little bit ago after the news broke and said, "I love that he does his own thing." And Matt said, "Thanks, man. Super smart guy. The guys will love." So, hey, Matt LaFleur trying to shake things up on that defensive side of the ball. Absolutely love to see it. What's up in the comment section? I know this news will undoubtedly be met with a modicum of grace and civility. Other than that, what happened to Jim Leonhard? My goodness. I guess the Jim Leonhard thing last year should have probably led us to the college ranks in general, right? Uh, absolutely love it. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got, folks. Mimsy, what's going on? Matt's dream, resume like Leonard, hair like McVay. That's good. That's a shirt right there. Steve, how you doing? That noise you hear is every household in Wisconsin saying, "Who the f- is Jeff Hafley?" in unison. My 15 minutes of research has me bought in. That's the thing. I like the trajectory and wherever he's been, his guys, usually in the secondary, have played particularly well. And those units have been successful. Now, that doesn't automatically mean that he's going to find success in Green Bay, that's going to extend to the defensive backs in Green Bay, but you like to see it. I'm fascinated to see how this transpires, right? Like what Matt is asking him to do. And that's something we've talked about a couple times here on Daily. Got to find out what Matt's vision is. What's interesting is that Boston College and even a couple other spots where Hafley's been have run a 4-3. So fascinated to see what the plan is there. She said, "Joey, what's going on?" Realistically, I don't think we were getting any of the Ravens assistants because they might go to Seattle or Baltimore. Hey, let's see what Hafley's got. I agree. Hey, this is just me being uber fan, right? Like the purest essence of I have no idea what I'm talking about, and there is zero doubt that this casting of aspersions is completely unfair. However, all of that said, I will say, thank God it's not Brandon Staley. That's it. That's it. That's my whole take. That's my whole take. That's where I live right now. Sean, how you doing, man? Feels like the same reaction Matt LaFleur got. Possibly. Juan, what's going on? Had a hunch, didn't know a horse could be this dark. Juan, you did have a hunch. Well, and it was weird, right? When you saw what appeared to be a limited kind of pool of candidates, especially after the wider net that Matt cast last time around. It felt like, okay, there's probably something here that we're not aware of. And this is certainly off the beaten path. No doubt about it. Merk, what's up? You mentioned earlier a few days ago that the Packers wanted to get younger across the board, bringing in new ideas and a new culture. Well, I'm all in. I mean, that's the thing. He definitely needed to shake things up on defense, and this will certainly do that. Look, all that matters is if he's a good teacher. The best coaches are good teachers. And as I was saying before, it sure feels like and seems like where he's been, guys have improved and gotten better, and they've seen good results. You have to think some of that's probably due to good teaching. So I'm fascinated to see how his journey through both the NFL and college ranks has sharpened or formed whatever his teaching ability might be. And I absolutely love that he has NFL experience, that he hasn't just kind of worked his way up the college ranks to the NFL. He's been in the NFL at a number of different stops. Love to see that. Jacob, what's going on, man? If we don't criticize every move, are we even fans? That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. Hold on, I'm getting all sorts of messages here. What's going on? I'm live. Hold on. I'm trying to get someone to come on live with me right now. Hold on. Here we go. I'm just gonna throw this invite in there. Here we go. Do that. Boom. All right. What else we got here, folks? Christian, what's going on? I was on the Leonhard train, but I like the fact that it's not a household name or a recycled name. I mean, it's nice that there's no baggage attached to the hire, right? Whether you look at his college performances and whether you look at his NFL time, it's not somebody that has been in the headlines. That is for damn sure. So it doesn't feel like there's any kind of narrative or stigma attached to the hire. And I love that. It allows for a truly kind of clean slate, right? And now, look, I'm sure fans and people will undoubtedly go through his history and his time in both the league and in college and point out all the negatives. And I'm sure there are some when it comes to the performances or coaching job or whatever. But for the most part, I love that at the time of the hire, there ain't a whole lot people can bitch about, other than it's somebody they never heard of. Which is, hey, 100 billion% transparency. I'm not familiar with them at all. So that's just me. And I am like you. I am a fan. Caleb, what's going on? The last time we hired a coach out of nowhere, RKO style, we hired Matt LaFleur. I'm excited. Also, he likes to play press. So Valentine breakout season. You know what's funny is that like Valentine seems to be like his athletic ability and his play style would suggest that he should be better at that, right? He didn't do a ton of that in college, but it looked good this summer when he did it. They just rarely asked him to do it in the season. Although I will say there are a number of occasions in the season when he did try where he got taken advantage of. That regular season stuff is a lot different than preseason or training camp. But I'm excited. Mostly the things I've read about him indicate that he understands that you have to change it up and you have to mix it up as far as coverages go. That to me is the number one. I don't want this is our shell, and that's what we adhere to almost all the time. Like, I don't want that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, special treat for you. Joining us now from ACME Packing Company and your Twitter feed, Justis Mosqueda, jumping on at a moment's notice. Because, look, I know you know college ball. I don't know nothing about no college ball. So, Justis, I thought I'd jump on here and say, what's up? And here's this dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw Zen in real quick, so no one judge me about that. Need it.
Yeah, whatever you need, Doug.
Just got back from the gym. Anything happen, folks?
Apparently, there's some headlines about the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator search.
Oh man, dude, I'm not joking you. Like 3 minutes before it got announced, I ran an article saying there's no panic to search over the Packers' slow defensive coordinator search. So that thing had the shelf life of
the shelf life of a
nothing.
bug.
Yeah.
A bug on your
Okay.
foot.
Where do you want to start here?
All right. So I know he's got NFL experience, right? Like,
Yep.
guy was certainly started with the Bucks, worked his way through the Browns. I know you highlighted the fact that he worked with the 49ers and LaFleur's brother,
Yeah.
Steno, and those guys. What I, in my 30 seconds of research, it certainly looks like a guy who understands the need to be multiple. I don't know what scheme he's tied to, and I think that's a good thing. But like, maybe you have a little bit better handle on that.
The Boston College stuff, particularly recently, like the last 2 seasons, I haven't seen a whole lot of Boston College. Hafley was a very popular name in college football for a long time, especially when he was at Ohio State and stuff. I don't know if you guys, you guys have seen like what McAfee does and stuff like that with like the alternative streams and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
like they used to have the coaches streams for like the college football playoffs.
I love those. Those are the ones I always. Oh, that's where I've seen him. That's so funny. Yes, yes.
So
that's where I know the name. That's so.
He was really well thought of. If you want to talk from a schematic standpoint, I think they're going to be a 4-down team, which is probably what the big thing people are asking right now.
Right.
San Francisco's been a 4-down team. He worked under Bob. I always call him Bob. It's Robert Saleh.
Robert.
And then Ohio State was a 4-down team.
I was going to say, and I know when he joined Boston College, they were a 4-3. I didn't know if he kept that, but that makes sense.
I can't speak on the last 2 years, but I would assume if you're looking at this from because I know people said he's worked for Pettin and stuff like that. I think he's closer to Saleh in terms of schematically than anything. Right. So we had a Pettin, we just got over a Barry, and we went into a totally different direction, which I think contextualizes a little bit why they got rid of Barry, right? Like Matt's saying fantastic defense, all that stuff.
Yeah,
after the playoff loss, but seems like they just wanted to go in a completely different direction. So,
and I think it's necessary, right? Like, I was just talking before you jumped on, like, what I am encouraged by, the few quotes that I've read, the Press Man quote that I threw out there just because I love Press Man, and he has talked glowingly about the idea of playing Press Man, which is all well and good. You need the horses. I get all that. But he seems to adhere to the idea that regardless of whatever front you're playing, you got to mix things up and muddy the picture for the quarterback. This is a guy who I think pretty much every stop he's been in the NFL in particular, seems like his defensive backs have acquitted themselves well. Like, communication, whatever the output is as far as opposing quarterback rating and things of that nature, seems like he, at least when it comes to the secondary, this guy knows what the hell is up.
Yeah, I mean, again, he learned it from Saleh, right? So, like,
right,
you're getting Saleh. I mean, it's all stuff that stems from Legion of Boom, and you'll get a little bit more of that. I bet the Packers play a lot more post safety stuff. Single high things. Right. When he was at Ohio State, I mean, Ohio State for years where they were able to just run through defensive coordinators, and it was like, hey, we have a Bosa or a Chase Young rushing the passer, and we're just going to play single high. It's going to be cover 1. It's going to be cover 3, which is kind of what Saleh did. I think the key to this, though, is going to be pressure. Because you look at what the Jets do, right? The deepest position on the Jets, I know everyone talks about how good their corners are, but it's the D line, right? 100%. Like, you look at San Francisco, they do not, like, if they have a chance to get a pass rusher and he's the third pass rusher, they'll do it, right? They'll pull the trigger. So I think that's going to be a really important thing for Green Bay, especially if you're going to play in the single high world. Crossers and things like that are going to give you problems if they're allowed to develop, right? So getting pressure is going to be a pretty big deal.
Got to get up in there, get in their drill, get that. Do you think, as far as the draft goes, clearly you want to get this hire done as soon as possible? I mean, you've got personnel people down in Alabama right now at the Senior Bowl, right? Do you think this changes much as far as, I mean, I know we haven't even heard from the man yet, but does this change much as far as what they're looking for or their approach to the draft?
On the interior, no. On the edges are the same no matter what. I mean, the only difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3 is 3-4 guys are going to drop into coverage every once in a while, and
Right.
people are going to bitch about it on Twitter. I think
Preston Smith,
linebacker,
cornerback 1 on the line.
I think linebacker is probably one just in terms of volume that you can look at and say, like,
Right.
okay, there's going to be some situations where you want to put 3 inside guys on the field. You're not going to play Preston or Rashawn as a stack backer, right? I think all the pass rushers are going to be defensive ends in this game, right? So I think just looking at it from a numbers perspective, we could probably look at an increase in, rosterable, stack linebackers. And then safety is an interesting one because safety now, if you don't have to play guys too high,
Right.
you can kind of have guys, you can kind of put guys in positions where, if you want to cover a guy, he can be that post safety. If you want to drop down guy, there's an opportunity for that, right? Like there wasn't really
Well,
an opportunity for that in Green Bay. You had to do
at
everything.
all, especially with all the shell they played. But like this is, to me, that's fascinating because of the state of that position, right? Safety in general has,
Yeah.
you've got to rip it up, right? As they were at that inflection point already.
Yeah.
Like you had 4 bodies last year, none of whom grabbed the job. Like Savage kind of came on towards the end of the year, but he's still Savage. Like to my way of thinking, it's like exactly what you're talking about. Like you're at a point where, okay, if you are going to make, I'm not going to say a dramatic shift, but if you're going to make a pretty significant shift in what you're asking your safeties to do, this is a good time to do it because then you can go out this offseason and completely like rearrange, change that room, because it's been a liability for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at San Francisco, right, which is a easy parallel right now.
Right.
I think D'Amico Ryan was like an analyst for the teams that Hafley was coaching and stuff, and with I think it was the Niners. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
But look at what San Francisco did with like Hufunga, right? They're like, hey, here's this safety who can hit like hell. He runs a 4.6, but like we can use him as a drop down guy, and
yep, we're not going to ask him to play center field. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, hey, maybe it's an easy way to kind of like find some edges and in some ways and get some younger guys on the field at that position. So, yeah, I mean, those are the two that I would assume you're going to see the biggest difference in. Corner, corner play is going to matter more in this scheme, I would think.
It has to, right?
It has to. That's a position where I think the Packers are probably pretty good at right now. Like,
see, that's interesting you say that because I just got done having this discussion with Malcolm in our rookie review. It's like Jair is Jair. Like I know this year was disappointing in every kind of possible way, but he's still an exemplary talent, right? I have no problem there. After Jair, though, I mean, Carrington Valentine got a ton of snaps. There's no doubt about that, but it was certainly up and down. Valentine's set to be a free agent, and there's no way you're counting on Stokes next year, given his health situation.
Stokes is definitely the wild card. I think Valentine has done enough, though, that you're feeling okay at outside corner.
Well, absolutely. He can start for you. There's zero doubt about that. But, like, if you want to field a championship level defense, which, I mean, given everything that we saw this season and as close as they got this year, you would think, okay, we gotta up our game on that side of the ball. But yeah, I think certainly with the way they played at times with Valentine can certainly fit the bill, so to speak. But I still think that's something they're going to look at in the draft. I would be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, I mean they're going to need bodies there, at the very least to like backfill stuff and play special teams reps and stuff like that. Because if you look at who they have under contract and their futures contracts and stuff like that, you're like, who's the fourth corner?
Right.
And you're like,
right.
Who the hell is that?
Right.
Like,
yep. A lot of guys down the depth chart and or practice squad in that regard. Well, Justis, I can't thank you enough for jumping on at a moment's notice to give us a little color on the Packers defensive coordinator hire. I'm sure you have coverage responsibilities of your own there at ACME Packing Company. Thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you soon. Hopefully I'll see you at the Combine, dude. All right, everybody. There you go. Justis Mosqueda giving us the skinny, a guy who actually knows what the hell he's talking about. Okay, here we go. We got all sorts of super chats lining up here. Okay, I got that one already. Mimsy, what's up? At least it's not the 0-16 guy. Super Bowl. She said, Joey, how are you? Disappointed it isn't Belichick. I kid. I mean, that just would have been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, here we go. Smooterino. Time to try it out. Hashtag Fire Haley. Has a nice ring. I can't wait till they give up their first big play or a key third down. And yeah, that is definitely, that check is in the mail. Jocelyn, this is perfect. What? Aaron Harper, better check on Corey. Oh, Corey will find this news out probably Saturday. It's Wednesday now. Corey might know by Saturday. Soder, how are you, man? This hire would seem to potentially limit the ability of the Packers to quickly tap the available assistant pool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, given his many stops along his career when it comes to the NFL. Tampa, Cleveland, San Francisco, like I'm sure he's built up a bit of a network. Andrew, how are you? Late, know nothing about this guy. What's the take? You just heard it from Justis. Larry P, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. Gene, how are you? Is this the good half? Jocelyn again, how are you? No more DBs going palms up after a big play. That's the dream, right? The pointing, the what's going on, all of that. Let's kill all that. God, I'm with you there. Tamor, how are you? Great, another buddy hire. How is it a buddy hire? See, there it is. I knew it. Like it took a bit longer than I expected, but there it is. How is it a buddy hire? Because he worked with his brother? Like, y'all need to chill on that. And y'all, I mean by Tamor. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, it's okay, Tamor. When the Packers defense is suffocating opponents and, limiting them and turning the ball over and all that, you don't get to cheer. You're not allowed. I kid, kind of. Christian, what's up? Would switching the scheme help out with the run? I mean, I don't think it's necessarily scheme. It's much more day of play calling, game plan, what have you. Like you can stop the run with the 4-3 or the 3-4. That doesn't matter. It's about what you prioritize and what you're calling the day of the game. Like if you're running like light box nickel shit when it's 1st and 10 and they say that, watch the Pittsburgh game. And you're like an offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, who ended up getting fired because he was so bad. Even he could see, oh, look, this light ass box nickel. Okay. Two guys down in front. Yep. I'll take that all day. Run 4 or 5 yards a clip, stay out of the sticks, win. I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with scheme. That's about your approach as a defensive coordinator on game day. So yeah, it all depends on who they put out there on game day in certain situations. That more than anything else will drive that. All right, buddy, I'm going to get going. Can't thank you guys enough for hopping on here late after this news breaks. Thanks to Justis for joining me to give us a little color there. In the meantime, tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.